We all know what's been happening to real estate prices here in the U.S. the last few years, and maybe that's one of the reasons that Americans have been going overseas to buy their second homes. As we continue our week-long series on the Boomer Nation, we're looking today at the countries that boomers are flocking to for those second homes. Joining us from New York today is Tom Coons. He's the CEO of Century 21 Real Estate. And from Chicago, Jeff Hornberger, who's with the National Association of Realtors. Good to see you both. Thanks for joining us today.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Tom, where are they going, and why are we going overseas? Is it the price?
Well, I think price has something to do with it. You look anywhere where you have sun and ocean and water, people want to be at. And when you look at the United States, some of those marketplaces have been priced out, so now they're looking outside the U.S.
Is it that much cheaper over there?
Well, in some cases it is. You know, it's interesting. I was talking to one of our franchisees in Costa Rica, and he's telling me that 95% of the business that comes there is from outside of Costa Rica, and 80% of those folks are paying cash. So it's pretty interesting, and most of it's beachfront property.
Is this a good idea, Jeff?
Yes, it is actually. Again, I'd echo what Tom is saying. There's a few factors that's driving the growth in the second homes boom. First of all, where are they moving? They're moving primarily to Latin America. There's three reasons why. Number one is proximity. From places like Houston, Miami, you're a 2.5-hour flight from a lot of these hot second home destinations. Number two is lifestyle. The Latin America region offers a lifestyle that is very amicable to Americans. And third, most important, is prices. You can get beachfront property at prices up to 75% less than you can expect in traditional locations like Florida and Arizona.
What are your legal rights when you buy over there?
Legal rights, the legal rights are fairly protected by the governments. There's some rules that you would normally not find in the United States. For instance, in Mexico, it's prohibited to own property within 30 miles of the beachfront, but you just own property in a different way. You own it through a bank trust or a corporation. So again, owning property in these foreign countries is simply different. But again, 4 million Americans live abroad, excluding military and government personnel. A lot of these people are living right on the beach in Mexico, and they're making money on their properties, and they're very happy.
Tom, you mentioned that those that are paying cash for those properties. What about if I want to finance that? Is it easier? Is it considered riskier by the mortgage companies when you want to buy overseas?
Well, I think that we're finding more and more that, first of all, when you're a U.S. citizen going abroad and going to invest in property, you know, what we're finding is that a lot of our folks are making sure that the governments are friendly to the United States and that there are a lot of the customs that are the same. So, yeah, there is financing outside the United States. And but I think that a lot of people have just taken some of the equity out of their properties here and moved it down there and just want to pay cash for the property.
But am I paying a premium necessarily if I want to finance a home somewhere else, in another country?
Well, a lot depends on the country that you're moving to. Mexico now has full financing available for U.S. citizens. Panama, which is one of the hottest second home markets in the world for Americans, they have full financing in dollars in very similar terms that you would find in the United States. But again, by and large, a lot of these baby boomers are purchasing with cash.
And Tom, you had a survey out of where people are buying in the United States, or we're going to where? Florida still? We're still going to Arizona? Where else?
Well, it's interesting, Bill. It's just like we just said. It's sun, beach, and water. And I think that the people are looking, especially boomers. Century 21 just did a survey of looking at all three of the generations. Boomers, Gen X's and Gen Y's, and boomers are still looking to do second homes, and most of them tend to want to move to the sunny states where there's water and beach.
Jeff, is this going to slow down, though, as rates move higher? I was just seeing today that the average 30-year fixed in the past weeks up to 6.53% right now.
Well, the second home market is booming. According to studies by the National Association of Realtors, around 30% of all residential transactions in the United States were in the second home market. So, again, with baby boomers, especially in buying abroad, you're looking at the higher rates are not affecting purchases abroad.
What do I need to know when I get? I mean, we all tell people here on CNBC, do your homework before you buy. You've got to go down there. You've got to spend time there. What am I looking for, Tom, when I go down there to buy necessarily?
Well, I think if you talk to a lot of people that have already done that, it's exactly what's happened. They've gone there on a vacation. They've taken their families down. They like the lifestyle that they see in these countries. and so they fall in love with it, and so they maybe will make 1 or 2 vacation trips and then make a decision to purchase property there.
Same thing with you, Jeff? I mean, you got to spend a lot of time, I would think, to know the areas before you're going to buy down there.
Certainly, you need to look before you leap. And a lot of these developments where baby boomers are buying internationally, they're very similar to U.S. developments. They're gated communities. They have nice yards. It looks a lot like the United States. But at the end of the day, these are foreign countries, and any baby boomer who is going to move to a hot international destination like Latin America, they need to have a sense of adventure and a lot of flexibility. You may call the plumber and ask him to come at 2:30 p.m., and he may not be there at 2:30. He'll show up, but again, it's a different lifestyle, and it's not for the faint at heart. So again, a sense of adventure and flexibility is a must when buying abroad.
Words to live by. Good to see you both. Thanks for joining us today.
Thank you very much, Bill.
Thank you.
Tom Kuntz, President and CEO of Century 21, Jeff Hornberger with the National Association of Realtors.